Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson, who is kind enough to be with us today and share his thoughts and bring his team with him. Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson is an ordained Centers for Spiritual Living minister and serves as a founding minister and the spiritual director of the Center for Spiritually Integrated Arts, which is an affiliated Centers for Spiritual Living teaching center. He's an artist, a performer, an educator, and a lover of comics and film in all areas of his life and ministry. In addition to his work in New Thought and specifically Centers for Spiritual Living, he teaches workshops related to American Sign Language, radical self-care, and living with a purpose. And when he's not teaching or speaking or writing or creating, he's spending time with his family, which includes harassing and loving up his amazing grandkids.
No comments. I have absolutely nothing to say. First, thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure being here. So, the name, Raymont Anderson, pronouns he, him, his. The complexion is moderately brown. The shirt is pink. The pants are black. The velvety Las Vegas jacket is wine colored. Now, today we are discussing, and I love the fact that the offertory song is referencing this give and take, because breathing is give and take. There's an inhale, because if all we did was inhale, that's not respiration. That's not living. So there must be a, what do I receive? And then there's a, what do I give? So pause for a second, because I want us to start with the words of Bayard Rustin, who said, "The proof that one believes is in action." The proof that one believes, whatever it is that you believe, is in the action. Now today we're specifically talking about what it means to be a 21st century Good Samaritan. See, the 21st century is a far leap from the parable of the Good Samaritan that Yeshua spoke of. Because they didn't have Instagram, they didn't have cancel culture, they didn't experience traffic jam. Well, I don't know, maybe, how do you make a donkey beat? I don't know, anyhow. They didn't experience a lot of what we experience. So here we are in the 21st century, and we have a lot of things. We could go to CNN.com right now and find any number of things that make us go, oh my goodness, it's only Monday. Right? Like at any moment. So then what does it mean? What are we called to be when we say 21st century Good Samaritan? Well, we have to pause with and ask, what is a Good Samaritan? So first of all, as you heard in my introduction, there is a part of me that used to be a public school teacher and university professor. So there are times that I pause to ask questions, such as now. Please raise your hand if you have never heard the story of the Good Samaritan, and when I say that, you have no reference to it, and don't it's okay. There is no judgment regarding this. Cool, thank you for that, thank you, honestly. So in the Judeo-Christian Bible, Jesus, Yeshua, tells a story, because he was always teaching via parables. And he tells a story about this guy walking down the road, minding his own business, and he gets beat up. CNN.com. He gets attacked and robbed and beaten and left in the gutter for dead. And along comes spiritual religious person number one. And they go their way. Number two, number three, number seven, now serving, I'm ignoring this man, number 725. Everybody walked around him, past him, stepped over him. They refused to get involved. Not my business, has nothing to do with me. And yet this one person comes along and he says, what is mine to do? Remember, the actions we take show what we believe. So even though this individual was not one of the, I am a minister and I am, even though that wasn't him, he was a regular, everyday person. It was his call to serve. So what did he do? He didn't just get on his cell phone and dial, hello, is this Postmates that helps people? He didn't dial 911. He took it upon himself, put him on his donkey, took him to the inn, paid the innkeeper if you need anything, if you need medicine, food, whatever you need to take care of him. If you run out, here's some cash, here's my debit card. If you run out of money, just let me know and I will give you more. And he leaves. The lesson. How do we tend and take care of one another? The beloved community is about taking care of one another. There's in the beginning, God says, oh, hey, where's your brother? In the story of Cain and Abel. Where's your brother? Oh, time out, Big Daddy. Am I my brother's keeper, is what he says. Am I my brother's keeper? To which I say, in the 21st century, no, I am not my brother's keeper. I am my brother, and he is me. I am not my sister's keeper. I am she and right? Am I my non-gender conforming, my transgender sibling, am I there? No, I am them and they are me. The time to recognize that we are in this together in the same way that if we lived in an apartment building, and I'm on 9th floor, Reverend James is on, we'll say the 11th floor, Rainica is on the 13th floor, because I know that's Rainica's lucky number. Tracy's on the 4th floor, and someone on the 25th floor falls asleep and sets fire to the building. Does it make sense for any of us who are beneath that to say, it's not my apartment, I'm fine? If the building is on fire and we live in it, it affects all of us. Did the fires in Canada recently affect us? We're not in Canada, but the smoke came here to the degree where we had air effective warnings telling us, stay outside, no. Wear a mask, don't stay outside too long. But we're not in Canada, but it affected us. Do we think that when the atomic reactor in Fukushima melted down, that radioactive waste and water, no, we understood that it affects any of us, it affects all of us. In the same way that Mamie Till Mobley, you know that name? Mamie Till Mobley, the mother of Emmett Till, said, I'm living here in Chicago and I'm comfortable. And I'm thinking, what happens to the Negroes down south is their business. It has nothing to do with me, until they killed my son. And then I realized that what happens to any of us anywhere had better be the business of all of us everywhere. And yet, we live in a world and a culture where we are taught and indoctrinated to mind your own business. Close your curtains. Don't get involved. Don't call the police. Don't even look the unhoused in the eye. Because the moment you make that connection, you're connected. And we don't want connection. But we do. We are, how many humanities are there? When we say humanity, quote unquote, has an issue, if I were to say that, how many different humanities are there? One. There is only one humanity, one species called human that is showing up as all of the diverse, it's like snowflakes, fingerprints. We are each individual expressions of the universe, of the divine. but we're one. And if we do not take responsibility for our own lives so that we are better able to care for others, then we are doing a huge disservice to this thing called life. We are doing a huge disservice to this tiny blue marble that is being hurled through space. A huge disservice. And so the invitation is to pause and ask ourselves, what is mine to do? If I'm going to be a good Samaritan, and what does good mean? When we talk about good, oftentimes it's in reference to a judgment. Did you see that new Barbie movie? It was good. You thought it wasn't good? It's a judgment. Something is good, I don't like good. I don't like the way this tastes, Jamie. This doesn't taste good. It's usually a judgment. Good in reference of the Good Samaritan is life-affirming and effective. Serving humanity. In other words, take a nice inhale. And when ready, exhale. Right now, do it. That is a good breath. That is a breath that anchors you and grounds you to the present. Because how many of us on any given moment are focused on what happened yesterday, last week? Remember when we were 5 and Barbara, when we were in kindergarten, remember when Barbara took the clay and we are so bound to the past and so worried about the future. But that breath was right now. In the same way that for a moment I would like, raise your hand if you are willing to accept the challenge I am about to. Yes, and your name is? Chris. Do me a favor. I want you to right now breathe a breath from Saturday. It's impossible. Okay. Who else raised their hand? I think you did. And your name is?
Judy.
Judy, I want you to breathe a breath from Monday. Okay. One more person then. Yes, and your name is? William. Do me a favor. Do you have a bag or anything on you right now? Okay, do me a favor. Breathe into it and save it for a rainy day. We can't do it. We can only breathe right here and right now. So this breath anchors us to be present. Because any change that happens must happen now. We cannot focus on what didn't happen yesterday. What do we want to change today? When we look at anything in the news, anything in our family trauma and struggles, wherever and whatever it is, the only place, the only time that we can bring energy to it to change it is now. In December of last year, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. And, you go through the stuff. It's like, what? And I caught my mind jumping weeks beyond, months beyond. What might my life be like? Excuse me, Ray, what? What are you doing? What do you mean, what am I doing? I'm thinking about, yes, you're thinking about it, but you're thinking about it in terms of when. What? Where are you projecting your thoughts? Oh, you mean in the future? Yeah. Why aren't you being present? Good question. Why am I not being present? Because we're taught to not be present. 98% of our indoctrination from wherever is about plan for the future. Fix what it's. We breathe. And in that breath we are anchored in the present. And in the present we say, what is going on in the world? One of the things I often invite people who are prayers to do is, whenever you hear about or see anything online or on the news that causes you to feel, pray. Send energy. And not just, because what did Bayard say? What did Bayard say? The actions that we engage in are a demonstration of what we believe. So the prayer is action, not just kumbaya. I'm sending you my thoughts and prayers. Kumbaya. How many of us will do that the next time that we are hungry and we will sit at the dinner table and simply clasp our hands and sing and open them and expect there to be food on the plate? None of us. Because we know that prayer, action is needed. So when we see what's going on, shooting here, shooting there, another school, what is ours to do? How do we get involved? Hawaii, we're not there. How can we be a beneficial presence and assist them? Canada, how can, the Ukraine, how can, wherever on the face of this planet, how can we be of service? How can we show our faith in action? Now, I am very clear in terms of faith, because I use that word quite frequently. But did you know that you can faith in reverse? Yeah, right. Not that kind of reverse. But you can, for example, oftentimes when we reference faith, we reference it in what we would call positive. I, personally, me, Ray, do not use that word because for me, because I do martial arts, right? So for me, yin and yang, yin and yo, the dark and the light are complements. And like a battery needs the positive and the negative for there to be energy, so I don't vilify the negative. I see it for what it truly is. So when we talk about behaviors and culture and society as negative, I refer to it as non-life affirming. If it's non-life affirming, how do we change it? So faith can be life affirming, where we are serving and benefiting and helping. Faith can be non-life affirming. Worry is using our faith, the power of faith. Fear, if it's not happening right now and we feel the fear of, then we are using faith in reverse. Faith is the substance of things, but not seen. Hope for, not seen. Hope for. If we are exerting our energy into the thing that we fear, such as there's a 5-year-old child, 4-year-old child, terrified of the boogeyman in the closet. Terrified. And their whole body is constricting from that. We wouldn't refer to that as hope, but there is part of the energy that is very similar because they are expecting. Hope is an expectation. And if I am expecting the boogeyman to jump out at any moment, then in essence, it's the same energy. Call it a different thing. But the energy, the essence is the same. So when we are talking about our faith being made visible in action, life-affirming faith or non-life-affirming faith? There's a gentleman named Jack D. Forbes who is the author of a book called Columbus and Other Cannibals. The Wendigo Disease of Exploitation, Imperialism, and Terrorism. Check out what he has to say about a very particular word. Religion is in reality living. Our religion is not what we profess or what we say or what we proclaim. Our religion is what we do, what we desire, what we seek, what we dream about, what we fantasize, what we think. All of these things, 24 hours a day. One's religion, then, is one's life. Not merely the ideal life, but the life as it is actually lived. Religion is not prayer. It is not church. It is not theistic or atheistic. It has very little to do with what white people call religion. Religion is our every act. If we tromp on a bug, that is our religion. If we experiment on living animals, that is our religion. If we cheat at cards, that is our religion. If we dream of being famous, that is our religion. If we gossip maliciously, that is our religion. If we are rude and aggressive, that too is our religion. All that we do and all that we are is our religion. All that we do and all that we are. Gandhi, according to the story, right before getting on the train, reporter runs up to him and says, Gandhi, I want to go back and tell the people in England and wherever in the world, what is your message to the people? And Gandhi replies, my life is my message. Your life is your message to the world. Your life is your message to the universe. What message are you giving it? In how you show up, in the actions you take, in the things that we do, all of it is communicating something energetically. Something is being planted in the vast universal garden of creation, and as we sow those thoughts and those feelings and those actions, something comes from that. Is it what we want? If my intention is to grow tomatoes, why am I planting potatoes? And then getting mad when potatoes grow. I want there to be peace on earth. Goodwill towards all. When will this happen? But when I'm stuck in traffic, I am anything but peaceful. One can simply listen to the words that fly out of the mouth. And while there are certain gestures that people do, is that peaceful? Is that sowing seeds of greater peace? If not, then the invitation is look in the mirror and ask ourselves, am I embodying what it means to be a 21st century Good Samaritan? So that every person that I see and everyone who sees me sees the face of love. That everyone that I hear and everyone who hears me hears the voice of love. That everyone and everything that I touch, there is that fingerprint, literal and energetic. And everyone who touches me, wait a minute, what did Yeshua say? Wait a minute, somebody touched me, I felt the energy. That everyone we touch, everything we touch, and everyone who touches us. That means every time you go to the grocery store and you think, cornflakes. Nah, you have left a fingerprint. You have also left an energetic fingerprint. What if everywhere you step, you are leaving footprints of love? And that anyone who now steps in that space feels it. Everything you touch, and they touch it, and they feel it. Are we willing to now step forward into that as our call to action? That's our invitation. Namaste and blessings.